Tonight, a court ruling puts the Trump administration on a deadline to fully fund federal food aid amid the government shutdown. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to West Coast Wrap. I'm Alex Savage. Today, a federal judge in Rhode Island ordered the administration to make November's SNAP payments by tomorrow. However, it's unlikely recipients will see benefits that soon. This order was in response to a challenge from cities and nonprofits to the administration's offer to cover 65% of benefits. Today's type of order usually is not subject to an appeal, but the administration has challenged other rulings like it. Vice President J.D. Vance called this ruling today, quote, absurd. Now, it often does take SNAP benefits a week or more to be loaded onto debit cards once states initiate that process. California Attorney General Rob Bonta was on Capitol Hill earlier today speaking at a congressional hearing about the government shutdown and the suspension of SNAP benefits. Bonta testified during a House Democratic Steering and Policy Committee hearing. He was asked about the effects of the shutdown and the Trump administration's refusal to fully fund SNAP benefits in November.
This is all a choice. This is deliberate. This is intentional. This is cruel by design. To not make payments and to only make partial payments and to delay payments. It required the administration to break the law, to depart from all historical precedent.
The longest federal government shutdown in history is now wrapping up its 37th day. It appears there is no end in sight, with Democrats insisting that a deal include the expansion of expiring Obamacare subsidies.
I'm not promising anybody anything. I'm going to let this process play out. I'll tell you what they wanted. I'll tell you what Schumer and Jeffries wanted. In fact, Chuck Schumer said it publicly and decried that Thune and I would not go in a back room with them and make a four corners agreement on Obamacare subsidies. And I said, there's no way. That it was never possible or appropriate.
The position of House Democrats remains the same. We will not support a partisan Republican spending bill that continues to gut the health care of the American people. We're ready, we're willing, we're able to sit down with our Republican colleagues anytime, any place, in order to reopen the government, to find a bipartisan path forward, and to decisively address the Republican health care crisis that continues to crush people all across the country.
Now, Republicans have new plans to try to challenge Democrats in an effort to end the shutdown. This involves a potential test vote in the Senate tomorrow. Republicans want to see whether Democrats will block a test vote on funding for the VA and other programs. It remains unclear tonight whether Democrats will go along with that plan. Tonight, major airlines are encouraging anyone who's planning to travel tomorrow to check their flights. This is a live look at LAX tonight, one of the airports here in the West that's being asked to reduce the number of flights by 10% during the shutdown. Those flight reductions take effect tomorrow. 13 airports across the West are on a list of 40 airports nationwide being told to cut flights to help manage a shortage of airport workers, including air traffic controllers. Tonight, Fox 10's Kenzie Beach has more on how travelers and airport workers are responding to these changes.
Yeah, this has been a ripple effect as the day goes on. More and more flights continue to be delayed here at Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport. Right now, about 220 flights are delayed between Terminal 3 and Terminal 4. If you take a look at the video boards, majority of those are major hubs across the country. Sky Harbor on the FAA's list of 40 airports across the U.S. required to cancel 10% of their flights starting Friday.
Yesterday, our flight was 4 hours late.
So what'd you do?
We switched to this afternoon.
A little worried. Not terribly, but a little.
Week 5 of the longest government shutdown in our nation's history. Some travelers at Sky Harbor have considered avoiding the chaos and canceling their trips altogether.
She was so concerned. She was really thinking about canceling it. That's how afraid she was. Yeah. Rightfully so.
For others like Tom Myers, who's headed to his daughter's wedding in Boston, it's a trip that can't be rescheduled.
Well, I gave myself a full day. You know, the wedding's Saturday, so I figured no matter what happens, I should get there in 36 hours, so I'm optimistic.
Thursday afternoon, travelers were able to board, but once they made their way to the tarmac, a passenger sent us this photo, a line of more than 20 planes waiting for clearance from air traffic controllers to take off.
Decided I want to go early, just in case this flight's delayed, I don't miss my connection.
Come Friday, 10% of flights coming in and out of Sky Harbor will be canceled, leaving many worried about making it back home.
I'm a mom, and so I want to get back to my kids. I'm scared I'm not going to be able to come back when I want to. I'm the primary caregiver, so coming back, I need to be able to take care of them.
We don't have a choice.
Yeah.
We have to be in Boise, so
Yeah. So
it's what it is.
Air traffic controllers and TSA officers will be out 2 full paychecks. Javon Pekovich, a TSA officer at Sky Harbor, and a union representative telling us they have no choice but to come to work.
Come to work or you're going to face discipline, which discipline equals to removal from service.
Many living paycheck to paycheck, the union has been paying for 1 meal a day.
You shouldn't have to go get a loan to come to work. Like, I'm supposed to get a paycheck so I can come to work. The question is, who's going to pay those late fees? Who's going to pay the interest on those loans that are when you're forcing people to get loans? And people are in fear, so they go out and do that. Who's going to pay for all that?
The good news, TSA officers still showing up here at Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport, those security wait times sitting at about 10 to 15 minutes across the board. Now, we did take a look at those numbers for you. In November of 2024, there were over 39,000 passenger flights that took off from Sky Harbor in November alone of last year, so about a 10% cancellation. That would mean more than 3,000 flights could be canceled here this November, all before Thanksgiving travel. From Sky Harbor Airport, Kenzie Beach, Fox 10 News.
And all of those requested cancellations are concerning for workers at Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport. More than 50,000 employees earn paychecks working at the various restaurants and gift shops inside the terminals. The longer that delays and cancellations drag on, the higher the stakes are for airport workers.
It's messed up, and it's not good for anybody, especially for the drivers like us. We've been sitting over here for almost like 2 hours right now. We haven't gotten not one ride.
People here, we all live paycheck to paycheck, and so we can't be having days off because of the shutdown.
The airport's total economic impact is over $44 billion a year. And our coverage of the ongoing government shutdown and the implications of it continues up at our website. Some of what you'll find at westcoastwrap.com is a complete list of all the airports that are being asked to reduce their flights right now.
I want you, my fellow San Franciscans, to be the first to know. I will not be seeking re-election to Congress. With a grateful heart, I look forward to my final year of service as your proud representative. As we go forward, my message to the city I love is this: San Francisco, know your power. We have made history, we have made progress, we have always led the way, and now we must continue to do so by remaining.
In a video message posted on social media today, former House Speaker and current Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi announced plans to end her historic political career. The California Democrat says she will retire at the end of her term after a decades-long run in Congress. Pelosi first won her seat to represent San Francisco in a special election back in 1987. She broke new ground for women in politics, including in 2007, when she became the first woman ever elected to serve as Speaker of the House. Pelosi led the charge on a number of major issues like voting rights, climate change, gun violence, and human rights. She was one of the architects of the Affordable Care Act during the Obama administration, and she has also been one of President Trump's harshest critics. Today, the president, as well as Pelosi's supporters, weighed in on this huge political shakeup.
I think she's an able woman. I'm glad she's retiring. I think she did the country a great service by retiring. I think she was a tremendous liability for the country.
She always made sure that we were part of the process that got what we needed. And that's what she wanted to make sure of, because she knew my district. She knew all of our districts very well. So she knew the bottom lines were that we could cross or that we could not cross in representing our constituents. So she knew how to find that balance. And it was really something to be with her, because it is tough love with Nancy Pelosi to get to what's good for it. She'd always say, for the children, it's for the children, it's for the future.
Before Pelosi's retirement announcement, 2 people had already announced plans to run for her congressional seat. They include current San Francisco State Senator Scott Wiener, as well as Shortcut Chakrabarty. He is a former campaign manager for House Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Up next tonight here on West Coast Wrap, reports of ICE activity put 2 schools in the Pacific Northwest on lockdown today. Up next, why school leaders insist they did the right thing.
And here is our live camera in Seattle right now. Some fresh raindrops on this camera lens. Another active weather day up in the Pacific Northwest. A current temperature of 52 degrees. We'll have more of the forecast coming up.
Yes, he needs to step down. Why? Because he doesn't care about us.
Also tonight, outrage among some Southern California wildfire victims. Up next, why they're demanding the state's insurance commissioner resign. Reports of ICE agents near 2 Portland schools prompted administrators to briefly increase security on those campuses today. Cesar Chavez School and George Middle School went into secure the perimeter protocols, which means locking the doors and keeping all activities inside. The Portland Public School District says this was all done out of an abundance of caution. Officials remind their campus communities they do not share information with the Department of Homeland Security without a warrant. Local affiliate Fox 12 did reach out to ICE about the situation today near those schools, but the station has not yet heard back. A group of Southern California wildfire victims wants the state's insurance commissioner to resign. As Fox 12's Christina Gonzalez reports tonight, they'll be pushing for impeachment if he refuses.
Yes, he needs to step down. Why? Because he doesn't care about us.
You're a victim of a fire. Then you're a victim of the incompetence of the fire department. And now you're a victim of the insurance commissioner.
Commissioner Lara has proven he won't protect consumers. Please replace him with someone who will.
They want California Insurance Commissioner Ricardo Lara gone. Survivors of both Eaton and Palisades fires, which resulted in the death of 28 people, destroyed over 16,000 structures, and are blamed for more than $250 billion in property and economic losses.
Yesterday morning, the New York Times published a front-page expose revealing that in 2023, Commissioner Lara secretly struck a deal with insurance companies, incentivizing them to dump tens of thousands of California families ahead of the Los Angeles fires, while securing rate hikes for themselves.
Lara and Governor Newsom touted the 2023 agreement as a way to stop insurance companies from canceling state homeowners whose last insurance resort is California's FAIR Plan.
The truth is in the details. FAIR Plan enrollment has doubled since the governor and Lara announced that they were going to give the insurance companies everything they want.
CalFAIR program, so our insurance premium doubled and our coverage dropped by a third. And so here we are, no home.
He's one of many who lost everything, saying they had been dropped by their insurance companies before the fires. And even those who had insurance with major carriers say,
being denied claims over and over again, that's a daily thing that we're fighting.
Everyone here saying theirs are among the more than 400 complaints filed with the Department of Insurance.
Several months ago, Commissioner Ricardo Lara met on a Zoom meeting with 250 fire victims, heard our stories, and promised to scrutinize the insurance companies' managing of our claims. But the next day, he approved a $1 billion rate increase for State Farm.
FEMA helped us. That'll end in December. Our house is just being remediated. Where do we go then? How do we pay, mortgage and rent? This is reality. There's a cliff we're going to fall off come January.
And that was Fox 11's Christina Gonzalez reporting tonight from Southern California. Deputy Insurance Commissioner Michael Soler says the Department of Insurance in California worked with the New York Times to provide facts and data, and he insists that the paper drew its own conclusions. A new report finds a ransomware attack in Nevada started months before it was discovered. State officials uncovered that attack back in August, but it actually happened as early as May. That's when a state employee mistakenly downloaded malicious software. The massive cyber attack affected a number of state operations, and it cost the state of Nevada at least $1.5 million to recover. State officials say they did not pay the ransom, and the attacker, as of yet, has not been identified. Well, the largest supermoon of the year had people across the West looking up last night and into the morning hours. Clear skies made it possible for one stargazer in California to pick up these incredible images. A supermoon happens when a full moon's orbit is within 90% of its closest approach to the Earth. For more, let's bring in KTVU's chief meteorologist Mark DeMaio, who is tracking the chances for continued clear skies across the West. Quite the sight there, Mark.
Yeah, quite the sight, Alex. Yeah, some areas picking up all the cloud cover, some rain showers. Other areas picking up the clear skies, especially down towards Southern California, out toward the deserts as well. Now, the main focus in terms of the stormy weather has really been focused up to the north, up in Seattle. Look at that rainfall really adding up. So another very active weather day, 1.43 inches. Olympia, Washington, 1.34. And they continue to pick up some rainfall right now, as you can see on the radar imagery. All this coverage moving into portions of Oregon, parts of Washington, and Seattle right now is reporting some rainfall. Here's some of the coverage, and you'll notice, so these are the wind reports. They had a wind gust of up to 58 miles an hour out toward Astoria earlier today. And as we take a look here at the watches and warnings in place, still some areas in green to show you as we come in closer here. This is out toward Mason County. They actually have a flood warning due to moderate flooding. At least that's the expectation on the Skokomish River. That's happening right now. So we'll keep an eye on the rainfall up for this area that could impact, of course, the river activity. And then a flood watch, as you can see here, for this for all these areas showing up in green. This was the scene in Seattle today. A temperature of 56 degrees, some raindrops on the camera lens. Out toward the San Francisco Bay Area, some clouds in the morning. San Francisco maxed out in the low to mid 60s. And then, as you can see, closer to Southern California, high today in the mid 70s with some sunshine closer to Los Angeles, and also checking out the view out in Phoenix with some mild conditions, warm conditions in the upper 80s this afternoon. So here's a look at the West Coast satellite. Of course, the main action is from Northern California up into Portland, up into Seattle, and this energy is kind of drifting into Northern California. So there's the chance of a shower, say for San Francisco, late tonight into early tomorrow morning, but the main action is focused up to the north. For Seattle tomorrow, about a 40% chance of some rainfall tomorrow, so maybe not as much activity. Some clouds for San Francisco in the morning, another warm day out toward Phoenix, and here is the weather forecast model. As you can see, the main action kind of moves on out to the east. There's still a little bit of activity in the region tomorrow. This is 6 o'clock, so that does warrant that, at least a chance of a shower. And then this is Friday, 4 p.m. Looks like a nice day for Los Angeles, San Diego, now toward the Phoenix area. Forecast, as you can see over the next 3 days, where you can see San Francisco, some clouds in the morning, more sunshine into the afternoon hours. Southern California, temperatures are trending back up, and Phoenix will have those readings back up into the 80s to right around 90 degrees. So some areas picking up the sunshine, other areas starting to see that stormy pattern develop. Definitely has been the case over the past few days up in the Pacific Northwest. Alex.
All right, yeah, we got to be prepared for the rain.
Yeah.
Mark, thank you. Tonight, we are getting a sneak peek at the new Hollywood biopic about the King of Pop.
Q, can you lower the lights for me, please?
Okay, but remember, in here, keep those feet still, my man.
Today, Lionsgate Films released the trailer for the upcoming movie Michael on social media. The film, directed by Antoine Fuqua, traces Michael Jackson's extraordinary career and offers viewers a closer look at his life beyond the music. Jackson is played by his nephew, Jafar Jackson, and the film also stars Miles Teller as Jackson's attorney and advisor. I talked earlier with TMZ's Branson Quirk about how long this project has been in the works.
This is a long time coming. Development started way back in 2019 and all the way up till now. We know so about 6 years for them to actually get this film done. It's taking a while, and that was also due to some issues legally. We know that there was a settlement between the estate and one of the families from way back when, from accusations of 1993, which led to the entire third act not being able to be used legally whatsoever. So they had to completely reshoot the entire third act of that movie, which added a ton of money to this already very expensive film.
Now, according to TMZ, the film is not likely to focus on any of the controversies the superstar faced later in his life. Michael is set to be released in theaters on April 24th of 2026. Coming up tonight here on West Coast Wrap, a strange scene, a Utah highway turned into a runway. Why this small plane was cleared for takeoff as the highway patrol stopped traffic. Plus, you may want to take a closer look at your smart home devices. We'll have the details on the consumer electronics company that will soon be ending service for many of its products. President Trump today announced a deal to dramatically lower the cost of two popular weight loss drugs. The president was joined by executives from Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk inside the Oval Office. They detailed the plan to reduce the cost of the injectable weight loss medications Zepbound and Wegovy. The obesity drugs will now cost about $150 a month. That's compared to the current average price of about $1,000 for a month's supply. Some smart home devices will stop working in a couple of months for millions of owners of Belkin products. As Fox's Evan Brown tells us tonight, the company announced it will stop supporting some of its popular devices, including light switches and doorbells.
Check your plugs and light switches. A number of popular smart devices won't be working in a couple of months. Tech manufacturer Belkin is telling its wide customer base it will end support of its Wemo brand of smart light switches, electrical plugs, and doorbell cams. Customers are being told that by the end of January, the Wemo service will end, the app will no longer function, and the devices themselves will be essentially useless or won't perform like they're supposed to. Belkin has apologized for the shakeup. In a statement to Fox News, the company wrote in part, quote, "The smart plug and light switch category has become increasingly challenging to sustain in a way that aligns with our long-term business priorities. In other words, that division of the company has become financially unsustainable. It is a common move for technology that's become obsolete, but some products Belkin is no longer supporting were released less than 2 years ago, raising questions about whether the company's long-term planning has changed or if they're falling victim to outside forces like inflation and tariffs. Belkin also said it considered alternatives, but ending support for the older devices was the only viable path forward. The company wrote, quote, "Selling the platform or sustaining it through subscriptions would require continued investment in aging infrastructure that's incompatible with future-proofing our users' experiences."
Belkin is suggesting that some of their devices still under warranty could be eligible for refunds. In Miami, Eben Brown, Fox News.
And finally tonight, an unusual sight in Utah. A small plane used a highway as a runway for takeoff. This all unfolded near St. George yesterday in southern Utah. The plane made an emergency landing near the highway last month, and instead of moving that plane, the owner asked a local mechanic to just fix it right there on the side of the highway. Now, after some much-needed repairs, the plane's owner worked with Utah leaders to clear yesterday's takeoff. The aircraft made it back up into the air and landed safely back home a short time later. An incredible sight there. That does it for West Coast Wrap tonight. We appreciate you watching as always. And a quick reminder before we go tonight that you can stay up to date on all the big stories we're covering across the West, including the ongoing implications of the government shutdown for people across the West. Just head to our website. It's right there, westcoastwrap.com. And please don't forget, you can stream all of our shows on your smart TV. All you have to do is download that free Fox Local app. We'll leave you tonight with a shot of downtown San Francisco. Have a great night.